All right, good morning, everybody. Sorry about the technical delays here. OBS decided to stop loading every time I went to go pop it up. I'm using the wireless mic again, the lavalier. Can you guys hear me okay? Should probably check my audio. Just wondering if you guys can hear me okay here. Levels look pretty good. All right. And in case anybody cares, because I know people are going to ask because they printing. Yes, this is our that we're bedding in right now. So it's printing a cat. So yeah, it's printing. Basically, I'm just using this thing. You got to hit and burn it on. Make sure everything's gonna work nice. And the mic cracks. Let me pull it up my phone so I can hear the. This will be the second time using this microphone. This will be the second time using this microphone. Hello, hello, testing, testing, 1, 2, 3. Let's see. Testing, testing. Using this microphone. It's like fading back. Hello, testing, testing, 1, 2, 3. Let's see. I'm not testing. Using this microphone. It's like fading back. Hello, testing, testing, 1, 2, 3. Let's see. I'm not testing. Yeah, so I'm not hearing any cracking on my end. Let me see. So when I'm talking, I'm around the 30. So I want to set my open here. Now, where are we going to close at? Let's see our close threshold. Is this better? I mean, it looks okay on my screen here. Okay, I was going to say, you know, it might be because of the, it's wireless, so I don't know if it's getting in the way, if I need to move that. And is it screwing up now that I'm moving our secondary cam? So we're going to switch over to the secondary cam. And we're going to see here what's going on. I'm going to go ahead and let's get this set so we can do a live focus here. Let's get our camera. Let's turn off the low light compensation because that screws with it. And let's get our focus. So there we go. We can adjust our focus. All right. You guys are screwing with me, man. I figured if I schedule a live stream in the morning, I'm going to be more apt to actually do it. So let's switch back over here. So today we're going to be doing the Geeetech A10 unboxing. So funny story, Geeetech themselves actually sent me one of these machines, and so did GearBest at the same exact time. It was just kind of weird timing. So GearBest sent me a machine. Geeetech sent me a machine. The one we're unboxing, I believe, is from GearBest. I gave the other A10 to one of our other guys that helps us out with support. So he's been playing with it and been working on getting firmware done for it. And Geeetech actually luckily provided the source code, so this will be fairly painless to add on. You guys said the mic is cracking again. All right, let me put this on a different USB port and see if that helps. All right, can you guys hear me now? Is it still cracking? There's a lot of wireless devices in this house. I just moved it over. So this is a wireless pack. This is a wireless lavalier mic. And the pack is down here on my... It's like I'm playing with the cable. Are we looking good? I mean, my levels look fine. Yeah, Matt, don't feel bad. All this, every stream. I'm wondering, maybe it's this, you know what? I haven't used this mouse on stream before. That's a recent addition to the rig. I have used this before, and this hasn't messed with things. All right, so I just moved it over. Hopefully we can get started. So we're going to do the unboxing of the Geeetech A10. I've got that right here. And if you notice, we got a small table today because this is not a giant machine. So... yeah, so what we're going to do, we'll do our unboxing, take a look at it. Hopefully they aren't like Creality where they send out half-completed machines to people, and then, you know, what you end up reviewing is completely different from the final retail package. Cough, cough, Ender 3. You know, because the Ender 3s I got, which I actually bought, they didn't send them to us. Creality actually has not sent us a single machine for review. GearBest has, but Creality themselves have not. And personally, I'm probably not going to be doing many more Creality machines on our channel, just due to the fact that I'm pissed off at them for still violating GPL stuff, and there's all these excuses. They're trying to say, oh, it's not ready. Like I got a couple people that emailed us for, they have a CR 2020 and a 5060, which is one of their more larger industrial models. They won't give the source, of course, and it's a proprietary board, so it's just irritating. It's like unless they have some sort of financial blowback, I feel like they're just complying with the GPL out of necessity and face, not because they want to. I still don't think that they really want to do the whole open source thing. I think they're doing it for financial interest, to be completely honest. And I was scrolling through AliExpress last night. I always check and see what's popping up in the printer world, and company ZoneStar is actually using open source in their branding material. So I'm not sure if they understand it or they're just like, hey, this is a buzzword, it seems popular. The Guinness, all our information on the website for the firmware is in the news post we made last night. The beta version or testing version does. We keep everything up to date on the site, so everyone's on the same page. Let me just make one last change here to the to my camera setting here, because I don't need, I always forget I wish there was a way to like have OBS be like, okay, disable autofocus, disable low light compensation right out of the box as soon as you start up. And every time I fire up OBS, I have to reapply these settings. So yeah, we made a post about so in terms of, if you guys care, I mean, you guys obviously care because you're here. I'm going to pull up my little, let's see here. I'll pull up my stuff here. And Matt, I am going to make you a moderator in here. So I trust that you won't do anything stupid. So if you see anything, feel free to bring the hammer down. I really don't have too many rules. Just don't be too vulgar in my chat. Little plug here for Matt, since he always seems to bring my shit up every time I just want to come and hang out in his channel. Matt1UK 3D Printing in our chat. He's a friend of ours. Really cool guy. I like watching his streams. Always has a beer on streams, and really good guy. So give him a sub. His channel is growing pretty quick. I love to kind of give a little push in the right direction to people that deserve some extra subs. So if you have not already, go subscribe to Matt1UK. He's an awesome dude. We've sent him some stuff to play with. So anyways, I'm actually bringing up my website post because I covered 4 things, just a couple of things going on here. I kind of feel like maybe we should do a little like news update of sorts on here to kind of give you guys a behind the scenes because it may not always be clear what's going on here. So projects in the works right now. The A10, getting this supported on our firmware, which should be done in the next few days. And then we also have the TiVo Flash, which is sitting outside the office. Also, don't know if you guys noticed, I never know where to point. We added an American flag to my door here. I felt like it was too plain, and America, so I like it. And made in the USA flag, made sure to pay extra for that. All right, in terms of what's going on here, free advert, I'm off. All right, so we got some, let me know if I'm clipping my mic or not, if I'm talking too loud. So, new things that's exciting for everybody, not just TH3D customers. We have a new firmware out that is based on Marlin 119. And why do you care about that? Well, we got new acceleration and jerk algorithms that are enabled in there. They're under the miscellaneous settings. I've been using them here, and my God, have my prints on the same exact machines, no physical changes to them. The prints are coming out amazing. In terms of people that are using the Easy ABL with our firmware, the beta one has the auto bed leveling fade option back, and it actually works. It's not breaking the Z offset. And what that means is you can put a line of code in your starting code. The code would be M420Z, and then the amount of millimeters you want to fade the bed leveling off. So that means instead of running the Z motors constantly throughout the entire print, you can shut it off after a certain amount of millimeters. It fades it out. It kind of just gradually makes minute adjustments until that compensation is completely turned off. I use a Z height of 10, so in my starting code, I added M420Z10, and that will tell the board, okay, once we get to fade off that auto bed leveling compensation over the distance of 10 millimeters. It's really nice. It makes your printer work less hard, less chance for any sort of Z issues. So basically, the idea is use ABL to get the first few layers down, and then shut it off because it's going to be less work for your machine to do. I personally haven't had any issues running it throughout the whole length of the print, but I like the idea of not running my motors more than I have to, in terms of having the printer do all these extra moves. Because when you're using ABL, it's constantly adjusting the Z height. So yeah, new jerk, new acceleration. Power resume code is in the new firmware. So if you go to firmware.th3dstudio.com, what you're going to get is we'll have we broke it out. There's a stable release, which is the U1R1, so Unified Revision 1, and then we have Unified Revision 2. So if anybody was wondering how I have our naming convention for the Unified working is we have the Unified version, which is the version of Marlin it's built on. So U1 indicates it's built on Marlin 1.x code base. R is the revision of the release that we use. So Unified version 1, revision 1 was based off of Marlin 118. And now that 119 is out, we have Unified version 1, revision 2, indicating that we made the jump to the next Marlin release. So that's, if you guys are wondering what that was and how our versioning numbers work, that's how it is. So once we move to Marlin 2.0, which is kind of, it kind of works. It's not stable enough for my liking right now. And there's no difference at this point between Marlin 2.0 and 119 for the boards we're using in these printers, that being the 8-bit AVR CPUs. They've been keeping those two branches in sync in terms of features and fixes. So that's how my versioning works. And then the last number is just our internal version. Like, did I change something? Did I add a new feature? Did I fix a bug? And if it's a major change, like a new feature, or we add a new printer, we'll increment the number. Otherwise, you guys will see I append letters to it. So like, U1R19A or B or C. So if you see that little denotation at the end, that usually means it's a very small fix. It doesn't affect all the machines. It's just a tiny little fix that doesn't, I don't feel is worthy of a complete version number shift. So, and we'll follow that same kind of ideas in the, can't talk today. The revision 2. So revision 2, there are 2 bugs with it. One, if you are using Simplify 3D or really any slicer, and it makes a very, very tiny, we're talking a like tiny little dot, a little segment. I noticed on some of my machines, I thought it was pausing the machine, but it's actually doing a very, very minute slowdown, because if you watch the extruder, it's retracting. And I'm working on that. I'm working on documenting that and trying to figure out what's going on, how to fix that. Now, I haven't been able to get it after I made some slicer changes, because my slicer is no longer making those tiny little, segments that don't matter. But it is declared on there. Some people have had issues where their Y-axis on Creality machines won't home on the new one, but it does fine on the other. And I think I've narrowed it down to end stop noise. And talking with Scott over the Marlin team, it sounds like it's because they made changes to the end stop code. So I've been playing around with that. The problem is I don't have a machine that's doing it, so I'm relying on pushing out a fix after jumbling around the code and making changes, and relying on the community for feedback. So if you have any sort of bugs for the beta firmware, join our Discord, discord.th3dstudio.com, and there's a channel called beta-testing. So anything regarding the beta, go ahead and do that. Power resume is implemented. Do I recommend it? Hell no. It's horrible on your SD card. It uses up a ton of RAM. You cannot enable, even on the 2560 boards, you cannot enable the new jerk control, acceleration control, and power resume. There's simply not enough RAM on these boards to do all that at the same time without it crashing the board. So if you have the new jerk and acceleration on, you go, hey, I want to try out the power resume, our code will automatically turn those off because it's not stable with everything. So how the power resume code is, for those of you that are not familiar, is every single layer, it writes its current status to your SD card. Every single layer. So if you have, that means if you have thousands of layers in your print, it's going to write to your SD card over the course of that print thousands of times. This is very bad for the SD card, especially the lower quality ones. It will make them fail sooner. I have a whole disclaimer in there. It's disabled by default. There's a big thing at the top and below it that says use it at your own risk. Me personally, I will never use it. I will never use the power resume. I put it on a machine briefly, popped an SD print in because it only works over SD, popped an SD print in, let it get about 20 layers in, I shut it off, I turned it back on, it asked me did I want to resume, it rehomed X and Y, and it went and reprinted that layer and then continued. So it does work, but it doesn't work all the time, and even people with the Creality firmware said it doesn't work all the time. It's very hit and miss. So, but the point is, it's the same code that Creality uses on their machines, so that feature is back in with that new firmware. If there's an issue with it, do not report it to us. Report it directly to Marlin. We are doing zero support on that feature. I'm just adding it in as a convenience. Can you tell I don't like this feature? I think it's ridiculous because not to mention all the stress on the SD card, but your print's going to pop off the bed if you have a glass bed. It's that simple. So once your printer cools, your print's going to release anyways. Could even release on a build mat too. The point is, it's a band-aid for people that don't want to spend the money for a battery backup. And that's the reality. It's for cheap people that don't want to have a UPS on their machines. You should absolutely have a UPS on your machines. I've got 5 of them sitting underneath our shelves here, and I got all the different printers distributed onto those, so I get at least 20 minutes of runtime. Now, I am not planning on running the printer off the UPS. The UPS is strictly for power blips. If my power is going to be out for a couple hours and I have a print that's that important, I'm going to go pick up a generator and then get that generator online and then plug my battery back up into it. So it's not a long-term thing. There's drawbacks. The point is, I don't like the feature, but it's there for those of you that want it. There's a lot more options in that firmware, including Linear Advance, which again, it's one of these things. Now, I'm using Linear Advance. I've been playing around and calibrating my machines because the new Linear Advance 1.5 version, which is what the beta is using, that is one that actually makes sense with the calibration value. So the K value is the amount of compression per millimeter of filament. So the point is, it's a value that actually means something versus some random number, which the previous generation was a random number. So, but because you have to do test prints and calibrate it, even if you are a customer, we're not going to hold your hand calibrating it. So you're going to have to read the Marlin documentation. But the point is, it's there. If you want to use it, you can. But we will not provide support for that. So if you need to figure out how to use it, you're on your own. We do have our communities, and we have a direct link in the firmware itself to the Marlin documentation. So there's no reason you can't figure it out. I had never touched it before. It took me about 25 minutes to understand what it's doing. I'm just signing out of my call queue here so my phone doesn't ring. And then calibrated it, and it gives a little bit cleaner prints. It's a neat feature. I remember one guy, a couple months ago, some guy threw a fit because we didn't support it in the old one. I didn't support it in the old one because the old version was just terrible. The new version makes a lot more sense. In terms of orders, right now, so we are running behind a day or two on orders. So the division of labor here is I usually handle like 90% of our support tickets and, you know, development testing. You know, I got my printer going here, just running tests constantly. So I handle support and testing and, you know, all of our inventory, purchasing, that kind of stuff. My wife handles all the orders, and then we have 2 part-time guys that help with kit assembly and product packaging. So our one guy is getting his tonsils out, I think next week or this week. I can't remember. There's been so much stuff going on. It's just a blur. And the other guy, I think we have him for like 1 or 2 more days, and then he's back at school. So we're backed up. As you can see, no one's here working behind me. So point is, orders are delayed a day or 2. So just know that. We did post out on the update because I made an update. The EasyABL documentation. So I finally got around to putting a video out that shows the install from start to finish. Some of the video segments, I noticed my shut on my S9 Plus and didn't realize that the video stabilization was just completely wreaking havoc on certain ones, but I was able to make it work and get the video out. So we got an 18-minute video that shows you from start to finish, both versions of the kit, how to set it all up. I also sat down, did some, you know, analysis and, you know, got feedback from people in terms of us locking down our product documentation, the EasyABL guide, and the other stuff that is our intellectual property. So I had originally locked it down because Creality was sending people to us, and I'm finding it's just more of an inconvenience for us because now we're replying to 1 million tickets saying what's the password, and then our customer is trying to find said password, and then emailing us asking for said password. So that combined with you know, just everything around, we've opted to just put basically a little guilt disclaimer at the top, basically saying if you were sent here from anywhere but us, it's a clone and we don't support it, and you should support us because buying our products helps support what we do for the, not just to put food on my table, but to actually do the community stuff. I'll do the free firmware, do the documentation. There we go. See that pause? See how it paused there? That's what I'm talking about with the new firmware. It doesn't seem to affect the print, but I don't know if you guys caught that. It just slowed down because this is running the beta. This has got the latest and greatest on here. So, but if you guys saw, it did a little pause because it got to a small segment. Is it a deal breaker? No. The benefits outweigh that one little bug, and it's not going to show up on every print. So, anyways, so there's no password. If you want to be a piece of shit and use our documentation with someone else's product, then so be it. We can't stop you. I found a post online where someone went out of their way to crack the password anyways, so I was like, you guys, you know, people are going to be assholes no matter what. So I'm going to stop inconveniencing our customers and just take the passwords off and put a little, you know, guilt disclaimer at the beginning of the guide. So hopefully somebody with half a heart would read that and be, oh, I should probably support the people that are doing all this work. And I think that's about it. Oh yeah, the CR10 dual boards. I had on here that we should have them about a week. I just got the tracking number from them today, so if you got a CR10S dual board on back order, we will be getting those. So anyways, enough talking. Let's get to building because that's what we're here for. So let me move my stuff around here and get this party started, so to speak. And my stomach has been acting up today. Not to give you guys too much information, but if I have to leave to use the restroom, that is a very real possibility. Didn't have any Taco Bell last night, so not sure. Yeah, here's my fancy schmancy transmitter, so that's what's doing the mic. All right, so let's see what we got here. Standard Chinese box. Nice color 3D printer. Quick start, guys. Just showing me all the screws and stuff. The upper gantry. Assembly looks pretty painless. SD card is on the LCD. Neuro is asking, speaking easy ABL. Due to the nature of the type of sensors we use, and even sensors like the BL Touch and whatnot, those have an inductive type coil in there. They're going to be affected by AC beds. The solution is to use a good quality SSR to control said AC bed, and it'll work just fine. I've got our TiVo Tornado here has an AC bed, and the V3 kit on there, and I have no problems with it. So as long as you wire everything up, ground it all, there's no reason why they shouldn't work. The only type of kit that isn't going to be affected by the AC bed, because it's not using a sensor, would be something that uses an end stop switch, which is kind of a pain. Alright, so I'm just going to get everything out of the box here, and then we're going to go through what we got. Let's see. And I am working on some new stuff for the Easy ABL, but it's all experimental at this point. And by that I mean it's just me throwing ideas at the wall and seeing what sticks. Because half the time I come up with something that sounds great on my head, and then there's no improvement. So, but we'll see. I'm always working on new stuff here. I am working on one test in terms of sensor revisions by adding a shielded cable, because I've noticed that some people just have terrible power, and regardless of having power filtering, some shielding would be good. So I'm testing that theory out. But as of right now, these are all just ideas and not something that's actually going to be implemented. So let's see what I got here. This one is the one that was sent from GTECH, not GearBest. So I sent the GearBest one to our guy. All right, so we got our upper gantry here. There we go. So we've got our upper gantry here with our hot end all pre-mounted. The duct is printed. Nothing wrong with that, just wanted to point that out. We got our power supply. Looks like I got a little, it's a ding. Oh, it's just plastic, okay. Metal cover, that's nice. Not printed. Well, it's nice if it's not hitting anything. Drawbacks there. We got our LCD here, okay, with our GTECH. I'm assuming the Chinese characters say GTECH. I'll have to point Google Translate at it. Not a big fan of this like little flex cable, but I've seen that on like their Mi. It's the same LCD it's in the Mi Create 2. We're gonna get this money shot here. Ready? Oh. There we go. We're gonna toss that off to the side, and we got our power cord. End stop connections. Now, I think I had taken I had taken the end stop off, I think. Let me see here. Am I missing? I think I'm missing an end stop here. Figure out what's going on here. So I've got, is this the Z? There's a Z coming out of here. This is a 3-pin cable. This is the X. X has got one, so this has got to be the Z. But I don't have anything to mount it with. That's a problem. Did they forget to put my Z motor or my Z limit switch mount in here? Maybe I have a box of random bits and bobs here. Because I don't think I just opened it to inspect it. I don't think I actually took anything out of said box. I always open them before we go on stream just to make sure everything's in there. And apparently I am short one mounting bracket for a Z end stop here. Yeah, they all have, all their end stops have LEDs on them. These are 3 pins, which means I'm going to have to update the ABL guide because you'll probably have to snip one of those wires. I think I already figured that out. Yeah, let me see. This is I think it's a CR10 mount. Will this work? Oh, this might actually work. All right, so I don't want to give Geeetech too much crap because I don't know if I like opened this up and moved a bracket. I just remember fiddling with the end stop switch at one point, but I was just looking at it in the box. So let me fashion up this bracket here and see what's going on. Yeah, I made the info. Yeah, I'm wondering. I might have accidentally forgot to put that bracket back in. Now I think about it. I've had this sitting here for I want to say a week or two. But all right, let's see if I can mount the. This is a 3-pin. I'm not quite sure where this came from. Does anybody have a picture of the ZN stop or even an STL for it? Because I'm wondering, I'm trying to figure out if this is going to work. I don't know if it is. If this is going to mount up on here. You did have the bracket for the picture. So what the heck did I do with it? Because this ain't the bracket. This is for another machine. I think this was for the artillery, because that's a completely different end stop switch. All right. Well, this puts a wrench in the plans now, doesn't it? Let me take a peek on the interwebs and see, unless there's a bracket floating around here. I could have swore I tossed everything back in the box, though, after because I looked at the end stop switch to get the polarity and the pinout for the actual connector, so our guy could put the bed leveling kit on his machine. And he wanted me to verify because there's 5 volts. So if you plug that connector into our board, it's going to ground out. And we don't want that because then your board's going to toast. You're in your tractor. I'm assuming you mean car. Or you don't really seem like the farming type to me. Unless I completely misread you. I'm just checking here because this is kind of like my bits and bobs jar that floats around on my desk. You have an actual tractor. I didn't know you were a man of the land. Oh, are you Amish? That would explain the haircut, Matt. All right, so here's what we're gonna do. I'm gonna see if we can find a ZN stop. See if we can find a ZN stop here. And you can enjoy my background there while I open up my. I swear you had one in one of the small boxes. Yeah, this was the small box, but these are not them. Let's see. If anybody wants to search faster than me, you can. Let's see, Ender. Let's see, A10Z end stop. Nothing. That's for the Y. Does anybody have a picture of what the actual one looks like? I'm just curious here. See, this is why Tim doesn't open up the boxes, because yeah, I'm gonna blame this one on me, not Geeetech here. So let me just get some sort of switch end stop mount going on one of my printers here, so we have something. I'm gonna end up replacing this. This is very, very temporary. Let me clear off let me print off my Ender 2 here. It's got prints on the bed. We're running all of them pretty hard last night because we were trying to get cases done. So do fewer cases on more printers and you get more cases in less time. That's how it works. So these came out pretty dang good. In case anybody wants to see, these are our latest and greatest cases here. If I could adjust the focus, that'd be great. I know I have the camera properties up somewhere here. Maybe I don't. Hang on. Bigger video. Properties, let's drag that over. Yeah, so this came off our Ender 2, which is a custom machine. If I can drag the freaking focus there. There we go. So you guys can see the print quality on these. They're not too dang shabby. Pretty damn good. This is with the new firmware. That new jerk and acceleration code is just amazing. Like, look at that. That is gorgeous print. So, yeah. A little bit of schmutz there. That's a small segment, so I'm not surprised, but yeah, not too bad for Ender 2. Not too bad at all. I just Google A10Z and stop bracket. Okay, I'm gonna do that, and then we'll get something printing on our Ender 2 here. I'm definitely gonna be reaching out to Geeetech to feature more of their machines on here because, like I said, with the whole, like, I'm not gonna stop supporting Creality machines in terms of accessories and upgrades. However, due to I just feel dirty featuring a company's machines that copied a product of ours. It just doesn't seem right. So let's see here. All right monitor. I need to go ahead and connect to my Ender 2 here. And we'll get that all preheated. Hopefully that webcam. There we go. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and get this preheating and then home that so it's ready to go. Let's see, Geeetech A10 ZN stop. All right, ZN stop bracket A10. I don't think this printer's gonna. I don't think it's gonna yield a lot of results just because it's so new. Maybe someone's got a upgrade collection here. That's funny. Creality CR10 legs. That's definitely an ANET E10. Geeetech A10. Oh, look at someone's already got a 118 firmware going. Yeah, this is what's gonna stink is that I have to maintain 2 separate branches now. I have to maintain the stable branch and the testing branch, and if we add new printer support, I have to make sure it's in both. End stop calibrator. Okay, that might be more promising. Let me see. Let me search A30 end stop. I believe the A30 and the Geeetech A10 use the same end stops. I gave away my A30 because there were just so many issues with it. All right, we're going to go with this. This looks like this should work. So we're going to go ahead and download that. And let me load up S3D over here. It's going to look weird on certain parts because it is scaled. Because I have a 4K monitor on that screen, so it is doing scaling, so everything's not super tiny. All right. Yeah, I think Geeetech is going to be the next big machine in terms of them producing stuff. I think they're gonna take over the market, to be completely honest. Creality, I think, is just they're flopping too hard. I'm not saying Geeetech's perfect. I'm just saying there's been a lot of weird stuff that Creality's been doing, and been pissing off a lot of the YouTubers. Not just me being pissed off because, you know, they copied our product and now their customers bother us because they don't know how to support their own product. But yeah, so enough of my ranting. All right, I'm going to save that. It gets curled over to my Pi here. So we got end stop calibrator. We're heated. So I'm going to go ahead and get that started. Yeah, the A10 is open source in terms of firmware, at least. Me personally, I don't really care about the whole machine being open source because all these companies are just copying each other. It's just China. I thought about doing a whole video on that whole culture and just like what goes on, because I've been thoroughly researching what's been going on in terms of, you know, how things are handled over there, and it just seems like it's just a very big culture difference between here and the U.S. And part of that culture is, you know, the whole let's just, you know, take people's ideas and use them as our own, which we frown upon here in the U.S. So let's get on. That's printing right now, so we'll have the bracket in a few minutes here. So by the time we get to that point, we'll be able to install it. So I'm going to look at their guide here, and we've got they're saying use the 4 M5 by 45 millimeter screws and 4 M5 spring washers to put together the upper and bottom gantry frame. Okay, so then we're going to bolt the power supply with the 2 M4 screws and put the blue strip back in place. Now it looks like they cut out the blue strip on mine, so I'm guessing people were complaining that they had to remove them. So not surprising. So let's get this party started. We got our baggie here. I do like, this is kind of, you know, I don't use floppy mouse pads, but it's nice that they include a mouse pad. It's good marketing for them, and it's a decent quality mouse pad. So you get a mouse pad with the machine. Like Matt said, Matt1UK, why do you guys even include this? It's garbage. It's useless. Let's see. So, this definitely is not, this is not part of it. These are Borkin buttons. I took them out of the box I had. So we got our nuts. I'm assuming this is all for the filament holder. We've got bigger bolts in here. Backup screw kit. So I'm assuming, well, these look like the regular screws, unless I'm wrong. Oh, well, no, it's not. They actually gave us a whole bag of extra screws. I like that. All right, we got extra nozzle. We got a nozzle cleaner. these little tools are nice. I don't know if you guys have seen these before, but Geeetech likes to include these. These are actually little. So one of these is an acupuncture type needle. Where did I put my keyboard? Help me out, chat. It's down here. I'm going to turn on autofocus for this camera and hope for the best. All right, so they include these little, come on. Hang on. I just hit like 10 different buttons on my keyboard and now Spotify is playing. Let's not do that. All right, so they include these little, of course I turned off autofocus. I don't know why you guys stick around. I'm a mess. So they include these little like pusher things, and taped to this is a acupuncture needle, which if you guys are familiar with Creality machines, they ship with these. These are very nice. I actually bought a pack of these, and I'm going to be making sure this stuff is included with the printer we start selling because they're very nice. So this will clear out your nozzle. And then this guy is awesome. You know why? Because this is the same diameter as your filament, and this is a hard metal rod here. So basically, you can force this through and clear out a jam. I'm a big fan of these. So I lost my other one. It's nice that I have a replacement now. What else do we got here? So we got your standard stuff, your wrenches, spare nozzle. Marlin is, no, they're doing 32-bit and 8-bit support. So, you make me look good. So, we got a brand new spare nozzle right here. Nothing special, just I'm assuming a 0.4. It's unlabeled. But, oh, hang on. It's very faint. Yeah, 0.4. Okay. So, and I'm assuming, is this a wrench for the nozzle? It's a little tiny guy here. It is. It's a little nozzle wrench. Look at that. All right. So, let's get this party started. Let's put this gantry on and see what happens. We'll say during the daytime here, the lighting is pretty good. It makes the makes the shot look halfway decent. So, all right. Now, there's a lot of this already assembled. You can see our Y belt is just flapping about in the breeze here. We're going to need to tighten that up. All right. So I'm going to put these screws through the bottom. Just reading the chat here. Yeah, so they're gonna maintain 8-bit support because those are not going anywhere. You can still do a lot with an 8-bit board, as we see with the current Marlin release. Like, they crammed a ton of extra features in here for the 8-bit boards, like the S-curve acceleration, all that other stuff. I'm really impressed that they were able to get it to fit and work. You know. All right, let's go ahead and screw these in. I'm just doing them by hand, and then we'll tighten them down once we get everything lined up. All right. So the new jerk and acceleration makes the printers run a little bit faster, and they sound different. So I keep hearing noises that are like, okay, what's breaking? But it's really just printing. So get used to how your printers sound, and then you change the firmware, which changes the motion, and things sound different, and you're like, okay, what's going on with this? All right, so all these holes lined up pretty well, so that's good. This is single Z, just like the Ender 3. How long before you force me to get your printer? So you know I gotta have one. Well, once we finish testing, I mean, this thing's been going for over a week now, I want to say. And so far, nothing's going off on it. And you guys can tell, I'm sitting right next to this machine. And I don't know if you guys can hear it, but it's very, it's very quiet, especially compared to the Creality offerings. And this has the basic fans that this company shipped the prototype with. I'm going to be putting Sunon fans in them, just because I want something of higher caliber in our printer. I'm not trying to do what these Chinese companies do, which is, you know, not drop the Allen wrench, but cut costs at every corner we can. Me personally, I would rather put a fan that costs me $3 to $4 a piece, if it means that my customer has a more reliable machine versus putting in a 50-cent fan. Because, spoiler alert, these fans that come with these machines are gonna, the fans that come with all these machines, the Geeetechs, the Crealities, all of them, all these cheap fans, they're like 50-cent fans at the most. They're absolute garbage. I'm not doing 32-bit right now, mainly because I don't think 8-bit right now for Cartesian machines is maxed out. The only exception is running Power Resume. There are memory limitations, but the Power Resume code is not the best optimized code. So I don't recommend people upgrade to 32-bit just yet, especially with the new Marlin features that just got implemented. There's people that are doing it just to do it because they can. There's no, unless you got a Delta bot. We're talking about Cartesian machines. And I was literally just saying, unless you got a Delta bot, there's no reason to run a 32-bit on your Cartesian. It's all just dick swinging. And to be able to say, I got a Duet or whatever, I got a 32-bit chip, it's just bragging rights. That's all it is, unless you have a Delta. And if you have a Delta, you must not value your time because those machines are a pain. I got rid of my Delta. It printed great, but it was just kind of a pain to keep running. And when it did work, it printed great. But it didn't work great consistently, which is why I was like, okay, we're just gonna sell this, and I'll make room for another printer. This is actually going where my Delta went. You only have 32-bit in your U20 because it came like that. Yeah, see that's the thing. So, and hey, I recognize you. Yeah, I've been seeing you around on Facebook. I think I added you on my TH3D account. So I haven't played with the U20. The problem is, I'll allow that comment. Message is held for review. You got flagged, Neuro. Yeah, so basically, if it's not running Marlin, or the RepRap firmware, I really don't want to mess with it. Like that's one of the reasons I got rid of the U30 is it's got some weird 32-bit board in there. Or not the U30, the A30 from GTECH. They had sent me one. I gave it to a friend of mine. It wasn't a review unit. It was more of a, it was a review unit, or a non-review unit that was sent to me through one of the groups I help admin. GTECH basically was like, hey, do you guys want to try out our printer? I was like, sure, why not? And it sat here, and then my buddy was looking at it. And I was like, you know what? Just take it and play with it. And he lives above me. Take it easy, Matt. So I can still go visit it and play with it should I want to. Now, I do understand that they did release the source code for their bastardized version of the 32-bit firmware it's running, but ideally it'd be nice to get it supported in Marlin. So another thing I don't know if you guys are familiar with is these touchscreens we see popping up. I'm not a fan of them because they are limited in terms of what you can do because they run closed source software typically, and you can only do config changes. So what that means is you can't add features like let's add baby stepping for your Z height, or let's add Z offset. Yeah, it's interesting. I'm not a fan of them. All right, so while I was sitting here yakking, I put the power supply on. I will end up replacing this with a mean wheel. I don't trust the standard ones. So we did the frame, we did the power supply, and now we're gonna use the 2M5 screws to put the LCD on. Now I'm gonna hook the LCD cable up before I do that because I feel like it's gonna be a pain to hook it up after the fact. So they actually don't even, unless it's in the wiring step. Yeah, they do. Connect the LCD. Blue side is on the bottom. All right, so I'm going to connect this now. Right now. Oh, they want you to route it like this. Maybe I will have to. Oh, this is weird. How the heck do they? All right. No, they're having you route it over, not under. It's not long enough for that. I just got a spam telemarketer calling my phone, trying to act like they're from Chase. Which is funny, because I no longer have a Chase account. Alright. So I'm just putting the ribbon cable in, the blue side goes down, according to their documentation. I'm going to double check that because it looks like this connection, the blue side should actually be up. Yeah, they're bad at English. I was going to say, I was looking at this socket here, and I've worked with these quite a bit, and usually the pins go down. Alright, we got it in. I'm going to go ahead and mount this here. Bed does not hit the LCD cable, so they did, either they lucked out, or they took that into the consideration when they were putting together this printer. Alright. There we go. Put the LCD on here. Money shot. Now let's hope they actually tap the holes, because I saw on Matt's stream they didn't. Oh, they tapped the holes on mine. Alright. So, since we're talking about touchscreens, what you guys got to understand is when you see most of these machines, now this is not all touchscreens, but I'm speaking in general with these machines that you see with them. Your touchscreen does not directly interface with your printer's CPU, on the actual 8-bit board. Come on. So what it's doing is it's just sending and receiving G code, and you can do pretty much all your printer's functions over G code. So the limitation is when you have a LCD screen that has the capability to do whatever you want, but it's running closed source firmware, you can't modify it unless you reverse engineer everything, or you figure out what Chinese SDK they used, and somehow recreate everything. That's why I don't like the touchscreens, is because they are closed source, and you know, it takes you a long time to do what you need to do. They say this print is almost done. It's about 70% in. The Ender 2 is chooching away. All right, so what else do we got to do? The filament holder, they want us to put it on this side, leaning this way. So let me go ahead and get this put together and then mounted up on top there. So I'm just taking this bracket here, and looks like if I want it this way, we got to go that way. All right. And then we're going to put off the back, so this will hang off the back here. All right, let me see. I like the idea of touchscreen, better off. Yeah, I completely agree. I mean, you can get rid of your screen completely, really, if you have a Pi. I mean, I wouldn't if I had the option to have both. I'm going to use both. This went together just like that. just hand tighten. There's a nut on the front. And there we go. So now I'm put the screws through the holes here and then mount this with the hammerhead nuts on top. So yeah, I like the idea of the touch screens. They look nice, but the way they're currently implemented on these Chinese machines is very poorly executed due to the limitations of it being closed source. I'm turning it into kind of a open source junkie over here. I used to not care that much in terms of what hardware my products ship with, but in the 3D printing realm, I want my stuff to be open source so I can actually do what I want with it and not be stuck with whatever limited firmware the printer manufacturer decides to ship with it. You know, that's the thing, is freedom to do what you want with the product you bought. And that's huge. All right, so my one hammerhead nut is defective, but it'll work with one. I've got more M3s sitting there. This coating is incredibly cheap though, because when I tighten down the nut, you can see here, it's starting to bubble up. If you look, that's just from tightening down that screw. You can see it bubbled up. It's just me nitpicking. It's little stuff like that. You know, I'm looking at the fans. They're just cheapy GTECH branded fans, so they're probably the same ones that everybody else has, just with their sticker on it. All right, so that's it. So we put a total of 8 screws in. Yeah, it looks like the Z end stop is the same style as the A30, so that's good. There was a picture of it right here. All right, so we're basically going to connect up all our wires here. Obviously can't do the Z end stop right this moment here, but we're going to go to the rear and get all this stuff done. So my power supply, even though it's shipped with a US plug, is set to 230. So we're going to set that to 115. Do they make mention of that? No mention of setting your power supply voltage, so that's gonna stump a newbie. All right, is this this is a problem here. Is there another hole this can go out of? I don't see one. These little caps are kind of... How does this even hold on? There's no, like, center part for this to hold on. Did they glue these on here? These are definitely... These caps are definitely just kind of super glued on here. That's weird. Why even bother? All right, I'm just going to take them off because these are just... Yeah, these were definitely super glued on here. I cannot. All right, we're gonna try here. Okay. I don't want to pull on it too much. Okay. All right, I got a little. It moved a little bit. All right, so I got that. Let's push this forward. All right, so we got these cables here. These are our X and Z. This little modular connection here for the hot end. So that's kind of neat. Okay, the extruder motor's on that bundle. This is an interesting way. This sleeving is definitely a little too long. I'm just looking at how they route the wires. I'm assuming we're going to go under with it. Go under the foot here, because that makes the most sense. And we're going to plug this in. Why not just make it one continuous wire instead of these crimp connectors? It's just one more thing to go wrong, in my opinion. All right, do we have blue snips? Hey, Matt, they skimped on the snips for me too. Yeah, the U20 I don't think I'm going to support. If you put a Marlin board in there, the kits will work. So what people don't realize is the Easy ABL kits, they will work on any Marlin machine. So what we usually do, now if you buy a kit, we're not going to basically do your entire firmware for you free of charge. However, if you have a machine that runs Marlin and you get everything working on the latest Marlin release, except for bed leveling. So basically build the printer with a ZN stop, get everything working with a ZN stop, then send us a message saying, hey, I've got this machine, I want to add Easy ABL to it, but it's not on your supported list. What we can do is, sorry, what we can do is you send us the firmware, your non-ABL firmware, and I will inject all the code and get all the features set up to our standards to drive said sensor. And it's that simple. All right, so I got a plug here. There's no label on this at all, but I'm going to reason that since we got our X here, and this wasn't labeled X, but it's the length indicates it's X, and our Z is right here, that would mean this last cable goes to the Y. So I'm going to go ahead and plug that in. All right, this has got a few more minutes on I got a few more minutes on this print here. We're at 90% completion, so we're almost done so we can mount our ZN stop. I have to use the restroom, so I'm going to put on the overhead cam, and then you guys take 5, and then I'll be back. I'll put on some music too, so let me mute my mic.
trying to find a way to make it easier to say that there's just one thing on my mind, and I think it's time for you to realize I want you all to myself. Don't wanna share you with nobody else. So give me something to believe. Will you promise me? Will you promise me? Will you promise me? I am not a stranger to excuses. Burned me once or twice, I expect them. I just wanna know what your truth is. Will you be the one to break me out of this? I want you all to myself. Don't wanna share you with nobody else. So give me something to believe. Will you promise me? Will you promise me?
I'm apparently an idiot. Can't talk. This is a this is a troll hat. The other one is actually a Trump hat, which I wear just to piss people off. So let's go ahead and put that on and see if anybody gets triggered when they think it's a Trump hat. All right, so I'm just gonna check this out. My ender finished while I was on my break here. So let's get this off the bed. Just get that little prime line off there. So a total of 22 minutes it says, so that's not too bad. Decent sized part here. But we literally only need this for a small duration. So there we go. We got our ZN stop mount. Like I said, I'm like 99% sure I took it off to do some work and measurements on here. And I'm pretty sure I lost it. So not GTECH's fault. Definitely Tim's fault. Oh, this fits perfectly. So this is for the A30. But everything lines up. All right, so let me get this screwed on here, and then we'll be able to complete this build. Can you guys hear me? Hello? Can you guys hear me? I see my levels going. Can you not hear me? Test, test, test. Okay, I was gonna wear this for shits and giggles, but it's too freaking warm. Even though my AC is on. All right, so let me mount this up here. I'm gonna grab some screws. Looks like we should need some small M3s here. Excuse the noise. I don't know how loud this is coming through. We will be done in a second here. Yeah, I got myself, I don't know if I got myself pretty good the other day with a scraper. this was Saturday, but this went down right here, and it was a flap, and luckily the bleeding stopped right away. I put a butterfly bandage on it, used my Boy Scout survival skills there, and saved myself a hospital visit. Didn't hit anything. I was able. First thing I do after I get any sort of mark or nick is I move things around and be like, okay, does this still work? Okay, it still works. It's not that bad. All right, so apparently these holes are longer, and my M3 screws are not going to bite. I don't know why they wouldn't make it so. Whoever designed the file, just make it so it goes all the way through, and the screw just bites in instead of having to use a nut. So now I got to find 2 longer screws and a nut and 2 nuts. And for those of you wondering why these are not sorted, is because Tim tends to knock over his screw assortments, and then they end up mixed up, and this is the end result of me going, you know, screw it, and then they get dumped in here because I don't feel like sorting them all. So there's that. All right, so I'm just putting these through. They're gonna be a little longer than they need to be, but this literally just needs to hold this for a total of less than 24 hours because I'm going to just put a ABL kit on here, because why not? So this is literally just for this unboxing here. And like I said, I'm pretty sure Matt's correct that I did have the bracket somewhere. I think it got put in here and I might have accidentally thrown it out. But there's definitely a Z-stop in here, but I'm pretty sure that was the one I took off of the artillery because the prototype was shipped to me. They don't do the bed leveling system. The company that's making the bulk of the machine for us, we're adding it. So basically, it gets shipped to me with a ZN stop. I'm going to tell them in the future, just don't send it because it's going to get discarded. It's kind of a waste. So, because we don't do no manual leveling here unless it's for a review. All right, let's find a hammerhead nut here and a bolt. Got 1 and 2. Just need to find another nut. And got it. All right. So let me see if this is the same. Nope, we need to go up a size. Need to go up 1 size or 2. 1. All right. So anybody got any questions here? Yeah, my AC is always on in here, pretty much, because of how much heat is just generated. All right, I'm gonna connect the Z. We'll switch over to the small cam here. We're gonna put the ZN stop plug into said ZN stop. And now I know, because like I said, Tor reminded me, you will have to cut one of the wires even if you have an easy connect for this, because it uses a 3-pin ZN stop, because there's a 5-volt and we have to accommodate for different printers and their configurations. So we'll have that. We already have a note in our guide if someone does for some reason buys this before we have everything, that basically says if you have a 3-pin ZN stop, contact us before you connect the dang thing. So yeah. Come on. I never, like these hammerhead nuts, they never want to bite in. All right, so we're hitting the Z limit switch. All right, we're good. So our clutch bracket there works fine. Like I said, GTECH does supply one. I just lost it apparently. Just watch, I'll find it later on. But like I said, it doesn't matter. We're gonna go ABL on here. So, not a bad looking machine overall. I will give it that. I am going to give it some power here. So let's see if she lets magic smoke out or if she's going to work. Unplug my auto rotator dealie I got here. All right, we got power. Geeetech A10 ready. Look at that. There we go. All right, let's see if everything auto homes. So we got lights on our X, Z, Y. Oh, I got to tighten this up. So they make no mention of tightening up the Y belt. There's no tensioner built in. So you have to adjust the actual Y carriage here. Or not carriage, what's the word I'm looking for? It's a bracket that has the idler bearing on it for the belt. So I'm just going to loosen these three up. And I'm going to pull this out. And let me see if they make mention of checking all your rollers and everything and adjusting them. There's bed leveling. They tell you to put the SD card in. That's about it. So no mention of basic mechanical checks you should be doing. So, all right. Let's pull that out a little bit. And then what I usually do is I'll put the tension on it, hold it, and then get one of these hammerheads to bite in. And usually that'll be good enough to keep it there so you can tighten the rest of them down. Mike, I think you're on a delay for some reason. You guys should be able to hear me with no issues. I'm looking at the levels right now. All right, so we are going to auto home this. And let me just check the rollers here. So this one's moving it, this one's moving it, this one's moving it. The back one is not. I don't understand why they put 4 rollers on here. It is like damn near impossible to get 4 rollers to equally work together. It just doesn't make, like, what is this for? Like, I just realized this. This is huge. What am I going to use this for? I have no way to adjust the rollers unless I have my own thing. All right, not terrible. Let's see if it actually homes. So let's move everything to the max. This Z is definitely binding up a little bit. Not perfectly. It feels like these rollers. Oh, these are way over tightened. These rollers are way over tightened. All right, so I'm gonna have to go over this mechanically. I wish I could say I'm surprised, but I'm not. All right, auto home. All right. All right. So let's see what we can heat this bad boy up to. Come on, focus, focus. All right, prepare. These Logitech cameras, like, there we go, and it's probably gonna go back. All right, let's see if this will preheat to ABS temps. I'm curious to see what they have the preheat set to, because I'm willing to bet this is a PTFE hot on 240. Okay, so let's see how quick. So while we're letting this heat up, now is the question time. If you guys got any questions or anything, now's the time to ask. So we'll run a quick test print off on here, and then I will have my way with it later. I'm just adjusting the focus here. It's like, okay, like this camera for a webcam gets really good picture quality. You just gotta override the built-in, the built-in, what's the word? The focus, the built-in focusing. I have our main one turned off here, so Let me see if I can find some no copyright, like, I don't know, let's do some rock. No copyright rock music. Let's see what we got here. I'll put that in the background. Let me see. It's got 273,000 views. Never heard of it, so let's see if it's any good. All right. Sounds good. Is my voice able to be heard over the music? Not bad. Heat up time is pretty good. Now this is a 24 volt system, so I would expect the heat up times to be good. Okay. Yeah, so if you guys got any questions, let me know. I will be adding this printer into the unified firmware and tearing into it later in terms of opening up the control box. I pretty much know what's in here. This is a GT2560 board, which is a nice board. So I'll give Geeetech that. They've been known for the GT2560. It's a ramps combo. Our hot end definitely could use a PID tune. I don't know if you guys can see that swinging. Unless it just literally shit the bed. That should have triggered a thermal runaway. Because that was a 7-degree swing. I turned the music off on my speaker, so you guys shouldn't hear me now. But yeah, I don't know if you saw that. That was a 7-degree swing. I don't know if that was a PID issue or if that is the printer messing up. All right, I just put the card in. All right. Yeah, this thing needs a PID tune for sure. A10 dog. Okay. Well, here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna let this see. I'm gonna give this like. Is this like? Let me see here, because I don't want to get this popped. Let me change the music here. I'll just put something on the background because I feel like it's better than having silence here. So there we go. All right. Anyways, let me see. One question. What is your opinion for comparable to the CR10 S4? I'm wanting to gain that size. For that, you would need, you basically have the S4 or the AlphaWise U10. The CR10 is a little better built than the U10, but the U10 is cheaper. So my opinion would be, and putting aside my bias towards not liking Creality at the moment, would be basically if you want a machine that works out of the box and doesn't need a ton of tuning, the S4 will be the way to go. But if you want to save a couple $100, the U10 is a great buy. I'm digging into mine. I don't know if I'll stream it, but I'm going to be digging into mine and put a 1mm nozzle on that monster and doing some big prints with it. Okay, we're getting up to temp pretty quick. Let me see what my fluke says we're at. So, as we're at 81, we're reading right around 78. Now, I don't have the emissivity set on here, so this is probably slightly off. We're reading 79.4 now, so pretty close. This is the only fluke thing I own is this temperature sensor, which has been really good. Yeah, so now here's the thing. In terms of, we're talking trade-offs between the U10 and the CR10 S4 is the U10's bed heats up a lot quicker. I'm assuming it's a lower resistance than the S4, but I had to change the bed on my S4. I have an S4 and the U10. My U10 had issues out of the box. So basically my thoughts are, if you want to save some money and don't mind having to fix things, the U10 is a decent machine. If you don't want to have to screw with things, then go with the S4. And I would highly recommend, I'm going to give a little plug to our friend of mine. I don't know if you guys have heard of Tiny Machines, but Tiny Machines is the largest U.S. reseller of Creality machines, and they test every machine and they actually offer a warranty. So if you want to support a small business in the U.S., and get a warranty and get the printer you want, check out Tiny Machines at tinymachines3d.com. I do not get any kickbacks from them. Chris is just a friend of mine that was honestly very helpful and instrumental to helping get TH3D off the ground, and sent us my S4 I got from him. I got it at a discount because he needs someone to do the firmware for him, and that was before I even had the bed leveling kits. So, and I bought my CR10 before even that. From him. So, and my Ender 2's from him. The CR10 Mini is the only Creality machine I did not get from him because GearBest sent that to me. They just sent it to me out of the blue, actually. So, yeah, I'm doing a Volcano, like V6 upper, Volcano heater block, and Titan extruder on my U10, and I'm using our TH3D version. That's the tough extruder, tough hot end, basically all of our parts. Neuro can tell you how great E3D's warranty is, because if that's who I'm thinking it is, I built him a custom S4. We went all genuine E3D on it, and just outside of the 30 days, his cover on his Titan disintegrated. He had the bearing gate issue. Me, as the person who built it, I contacted Phil Struder, which is who I bought it from. It was like 45 days from purchase. Found out, even though you're paying $100 for an extruder, you only get a 30-day warranty. And it doesn't matter that it was a manufacturing defect. I then had to eat replacement parts to send out to Khalil. If that's who I'm thinking, I'm pretty sure that's Khalil. But the point is, I've been burned like that on E3D's parts multiple times, because it's like, I have no problem paying a premium for things as long as I get a good warranty and support. 30 days on a $100 extruder is insane. Like, we do 90 days on our $40 tough extruder, which is a Titan clone. If I can do it, why can't they? That's kind of where I stand with the E3D stuff. I don't hate them. That's just the reason I don't sell them, is I don't want to get shafted with having to deal with upset customers, because a customer can open in a complaint within 90 days with their credit card company or PayPal. So that means, regardless if I put 30 days warranty, they can still dispute it. And that means I'll have to eat shit on that transaction just to make that go away. It's not ideal. It's not ideal. I wish they didn't do that. I wish they offered a longer warranty, especially for what they're charging. Now, I don't know their costs, and people do that. People do that with with us, like, oh, we can get it for $20. But the thing is, I know it's not costing you guys a ton to make these. The least you could do is back up your high price tag with a warranty to go with it. But being told 15 days out of warranty on a defective product, not just broke, it was defective, that I'm going to have to buy another part to fix it, is unacceptable. I don't care who you are. That's unacceptable. If that was one of our customers, I would have sent them out a new lid, no questions asked, apologized, and that was it. Not told them, here, go buy another part. That's why I don't buy the E3D products anymore for my machines. I have one machine with E3D product on it. It works. But I've had the same kind of issues with the E3D stuff that I've had with, the clones that I sell. And it usually comes down to assembly. I didn't assemble something correctly, like V6 leaking because you didn't heat it up and tighten it down. But yeah, that's my little rant on why I don't like E3D, and why I don't sell them currently. I did reach out to them to see, because I do want to support them. I do think they do cool new ideas, but I also don't want to get burned as a reseller if I have to then eat unhappy customer stuff because their products don't hold up. So 3D printing trucker Titan. Yeah, so fun fact, the company that makes Triangle Labs Titans make the ones for us. So they come out of the same factory and they're very good quality. I've never had issues with them. So we're getting close to 100 here. I'm going to go ahead and change it so it can hit 100. That didn't take too long. About what I'd expect. So let's go down and heat it. So they got PLA set at 70 on the bed for the default. I'm going to go ahead and move this. Where do they move it? Are we going all the way down? We're going all the way down. Yeah, this is definitely an old version of Marlin. You can tell just by how the menu layout is. Micro Swiss is good. They're mainly geared for people that don't want to change out their entire hot end, because you can get, like, I think the V6s, even the clones or the tough extruders, like, or tough hot ends like we sell, give you more bang for your buck. But the Micro Swiss, I have one here. Tiny Machine sent it to us for testing, as they're all metal. I've had no issues with it. So aside from price, I can't complain one bit about Micro Swiss stuff. They work. So if price isn't an issue, and you want a good, drop-in replacement, I'd say go for it. All right, we're gonna print some Inland Light Blue. I love Inland filament. It's my go-to. I have yet to find a U.S. company. There's been a couple I've tested, like that Dalton 3D print. Their stuff printed real nice, and the price was pretty competitive. But I go to Inland's like my go-to because I can get it from Micro Center, and I can go pick it up in person. Okay, filament loading super easy. This is a nice extruder. It is plastic, however, it does look like it'll work just fine. So let's see if we can get some filament out of here. I'm gonna go to prepare, move axis. I'm gonna do one. Can we do extruder? Yes, we can. All right, we're just gonna go ahead and purge out. I usually purge out about 50 millimeters, so let's see if this is gonna work here. And while this is going, this is basically like a V5 style heatsink with what I want to say that that might actually be a V5 block, but the nozzle's an MK8, so it looks like they did some sort of hybrid deal here. It'll work fine. Interesting choice though, interesting selection. So the preheat function, the layer fan is running. Well, I just stopped it. Okay, it does have auto restart. Oh, yeah, we're buffering. Hang on, something's going on here. Are we guys good? I'm showing a red on my, I'm showing red here. I'm gonna give this a chance. Yeah, I see that. All right, let me. Okay, are we back? We good? I'm showing green here. It was definitely a connection issue here. Khalil just texted me. I'm showing green now. I was showing red. We good now? Someone press F to pay respects. Yeah, I'm not lucky enough to have fiber. We're stuck with Comcast. Let me see here. I hope this doesn't break up the stream into multiple videos. I hate when YouTube does that. Yeah, we have about a gig down and 45 up. I'm looking at my WAN traffic. We're only sitting at 1.5 megs up, so 15, 16 megs up. So we're not even saturating our connection. Must have been a YouTube glitch. For once, it's not Comcast because I'm not showing any dropouts on our monitoring here. All right, so before the cut, we did the filament load, so we're purged out here. I'm going to go ahead and level the bed. So we're going to go ahead and home everything. I'm going prepare, auto home, and then we're going to manually level the bed. I hate leveling beds. Khalil, you were mentioning the AC bed and the EZABL. Did you try? Because I thought I remember you asking me about SSRs and whatnot. Did you try some of those? Recommended ones, the Misumi or the Mager ones? All right. So are these are not disabled? All right. So I'm gonna go ahead, prepare, disable steppers, info, and we're gonna go ahead and level the bed. This is something I haven't had to do in a long time. All right, so I just cut up their sheet, so it's not huge. I'm just going to go back and forth. All right, we're starting to grab here. I'm going to back it off a little bit. Grabbing. All right, go to the next corner. I have all those gun files because this is America, and legally I can I can make them. I'm actually going to print them off just for shits and giggles, not to actually fire them, but I want them as just kind of a conversation piece to have around. I actually had tweeted them out. Someone posted a mirror, so I retweeted the mirror, and Twitter pulled it. I'm not surprised because they're a very anti-gun, left-leaning company. But yeah. Yeah, I have all the files, so if any of you Americans want the files, go ahead and shoot me an email. I'd be more than happy to share them. Because I think it's ridiculous that people are this bent out of shape over 3D printed guns that don't even work more than a few shots, if that. Like, it's a principle of the matter. It's like, we can do it, we're going to do it because we can. And I'm all for that. You know. Anyways, not going to get too political on here. I don't know where everybody aligns. Don't really care. I just don't feel like having a discussion with somebody getting all butthurt. I will tell you, though, that like I do have my CCW and I do carry. So if that gives you an idea where I lay. All right. Let's check this. This is what I hit. I adjust one. The next one throws that off. It's all right. We're good. I'm going to call this good enough. So we're going to go ahead and auto home here. Looks like Tyler's in today. When are you getting your tonsils out?
The 20th.
The 20th. Okay. Yeah, I know Danny hasn't been here today or this week that much. I was like, shit.
Yeah, he's getting stuff situated for school.
Yeah, he's going back to school. All right, so we're going to go ahead and I'm going to go ahead and print from SD here. Yeah, all those pretty much have shit that needs to be removed. They should come off fairly easily. All right, so let's go ahead and get this printing. Why is it going up? I'm doing their G code. It is... Okay, it stopped moving the Z up. You live in Texas, yeah. That'd do it. If honestly, if it wasn't so daggone hot down there, I would move to Texas in a heartbeat. Because Texas is great for business. Texas is great if you're an American. All right, let's see. Are we printing level on here? We are too high. Now we get to play the knob adjustment while it's printing game. All right, I think I got it. That wasn't too terrible. I've had worse times. All right, so we're printing. Actually somewhat level, so that's good. I just want to see how the print quality is on here. Khalil, what kind of accuracy were you getting? Because I get 0.004 on our TiVo Tornado that's got an AC bed. With that same Misumi SSR, I've had 0 issues with it. Now my frame is grounded. I don't know if you grounded your frame or whatnot, and I'm running the power for the bed off the same power as the main printer itself. On the artillery, I am printing a Luby 3 Cat, and I think I forgot to change the layer height. I think it's still 0.3. We'll see. I just want to run this thing through its paces. If you guys want to see the print quality I'm getting off the artillery, here's the little Nikki vase I posted on our Instagram here. I got to pull the supports off, but this thing came out just beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. So we'll put this back on the Geeetech. We're a little close here on the front, it looks like. But as long as that sticks down, I don't understand why these companies don't at least put baby stepping in. Like the stock, like when we put out our Unified for the stock machines, we have baby stepping even if you don't have a probe, which makes a world of difference. We got 34 people on stream. That's not bad. What's up, Skewed View? What did Tor? What did I send you, Tor? I know Zombie Disposal Squad is you. I'm looking. What did I send you? I'm trying to figure out what I missed here. I'm like looking here. I live in Texas. I'm in Florida. Feel the same. I'm assuming SSR was better. Yeah, I'm curious to know what your probing, like your M48 results were. Oh, Tor, you want the files? Gotcha. Oh yeah, Derek. Send me an email if you guys want the files. Send an email to tim@thrudystudio.com, and I will gladly send you a OneDrive link that has them. Because if you're in the U.S., they're legal for you to possess, because we can make our own guns here. So if you're outside of the U.S., though, they are elite. Depending on what country you're in, they're illegal to possess. So be aware of that. I will not knowingly send them to someone that's outside of the U.S. But I will say, if you search DefCAD Mirror on Twitter, you will find it. Tyler, you got the glove on, right? Good. We now have policy where your hand that is not holding the scraper has to have a glove on it when you're removing prints from the bed, because I don't need a I don't need a freaking lawsuit, and I got myself good. Yeah, Derek, I can't, knowing that, I can't send them to you. Yeah, it's illegal for you to do that. I don't know if I can get in any trouble because you'd be the one breaking it. But there are, just go on Twitter, search DefCAD Mirror. I'm sure they're still out there, and that's where I got mine from. Personally, I don't think I could deal with living in a country that, you know, was like that. I think it's ridiculous. Like, but you know, they have different laws, and if you live there, you got to respect them. Unfortunately. Let me see. I might pull up my TS3D email here. Now the files I have are SolidWorks files. Someone hasn't. Yeah, sorry. My brain just kind of crashed. Yeah, I would have to check. Yeah, the BL Touch, if you have an AC bed, as long as you get one that works properly, it can be less of a pain in the ass to deal with. But do know inside that BL Touch is an inductive prox sensor, so it could be affected by the AC bed current, depending on what they have. I was not happy with my BL Touch. I got more frustrated. I couldn't get lower than like on average, my repeatability with it was 0.03. And my kits are getting 0.003, 004, you know, under 0.01. And I just had problems with it rattling, and it was driving me nuts, and I couldn't imagine having 10 machines running with those probes on there rattling the entire day. I would kill myself. So that's why I don't sell them. They're too hit and miss. Typically, if our probes, they either work. There you go. We're dropping down in frames again. I wonder if YouTube servers are having an issue because, for once, it's not Comcast. Yeah, I'm checking my speed right now. If you guys can hear me. Yeah. The other guy posted his Yahoo. I'm just sending you an email now. Please reply back. And I will send you those. As long